Right, where can I start with this part of the story? I've got the gearbox all rebuilt now. I've changed the main shaft, and if we take a look around this side, hopefully we'll be able to see that I can't shake the main shaft up and down in the through the sleeve gear. It's a good fit. Also, hopefully we can see that the main shaft is running true now. It's not bent. I've got the old bent main shaft here. We've had a look at it already. Anyway, what I did basically, the gear on the old main shaft looked to be in better condition than the gear on the main shaft I fitted as a replacement. Now the replacement main shaft came out of an old Indian gearbox I've got in bits, but the gears and lots of other things are just a straight swap, so no major worries there, until that is I came to fitting the gearbox end cover, and I found that it just wouldn't go on over the main shaft. The bearing was in the casing and it just wouldn't go over the main shaft, and I couldn't get it to go home. It was leaving about a 3/4 of an inch gap. It wouldn't go any further. So I thought, right, okay, this is a bit odd. You're tempted to sort of get the hammer out and just sort of give the casing a couple of whacks and it might go on, but it didn't feel as if that was going to happen. So I had a look, and I actually got the old main shaft that I removed from this gearbox and tried it in the bearing on in the end cover of the Indian gearbox I got in bits, and well, it just sort of dropped in there and waggled around like that. And that is because the Indian main shaft, the end of it, everything else is the same, but this end of it that fits in the bearing is of a bigger diameter. So I thought, well, okay, what I'll do then, I'll just get the bearing out of the Indian end cover, which must have a larger inner diameter in a race, and use that instead. But oh, guess what? The outer diameter of the Indian bearing is bigger as well. So perhaps I might have been able to swap the whole end cover, but that's sort of starting to get a little bit of a faff. So what I did in the end, it was only the matter of a few thou probably. I put the main shaft in the lathe, and I actually managed, believe it or not, to skim it very, very lightly and remove enough material for the end of it to fit through the original bearing once I polished up the end of the main shaft. So that's what I've done. So that's one to bear in mind. I never knew about it. Perhaps other people around in Royal Enfield land perhaps knew about it. I didn't know. But a British gearbox main shaft and an Indian gearbox main shaft might not necessarily be interchangeable with each other. It certainly turned out to be the case here, and well, I consider myself very lucky that I managed to get away with what I did, and having a lathe to hand helped immensely. It's in there now and working, and I can put the rest of it back together, and next up I suppose I can start building up the primary drive side, and then probably tomorrow we'll be getting the cylinder head on and possibly completing the engine, all being well. But that was just another one of those unexpected curved balls. I'd never ever have expected that in a million years. But the main shafts between British Enfield Bullets and certainly some Indian ones are different at the end where they fit through this bearing on the right hand side of the bike.